Hello, I'm Jonathan from Shooting Stuff. Jonathan's journey continues into the world of reloading high volumes of precision ammunition on a progressive reloading system. We've progressed pretty well with setting up the tool head on the apex, and now it comes down to the bullet seating die. This competition bullet seating die from Reading is part of the set that we selected earlier, and because of this and our decision not to use the bullet feeder, the Mr. Bullet feeder just yet, we're going to use the competition bullet seating die on station 9, and then station 10 will remain empty. There's no need to crimp for this particular combination of things. If we flare and additionally for a bullet feeder, then we have a reason for the crimp or using the ammo in a semi-auto. Neither of those are present, so it's just the bullet seating die right now. So the important thing with a new Reading die, any of them, is to make sure that you remove all of the shipping lube that keeps it protected from rusting during shipping. Clean up the die, and then you can load safely. We'll be right back. One clean die later, I set the micrometer basically as long as possible on the calibration, and the guide for the cartridge case moves freely. I also like to set up the die with the case in the shell plate so that I get full support all the way down. Once the die is screwed in and touching the shell plate or touching onto the shoulder, turn it back until you can conveniently see the micrometer graduations, and then snug down the lock ring. The exact orientation doesn't matter, and you can decide whichever angle is convenient for you to get a good view. I've got an empty case that I'm going to use for seating the first bullet. We've got some Lapua 123 grain CNAs available, and if, like me, you've already developed a sample, it makes setting your case a lot easier. If, like me, you've already got a sample loaded to the correct length, it makes setting your die a lot easier. Put it in, run it into the case, and turn your micrometer down until it touches, and you'll be close. I'm going to show you the other way without having the convenience of this. So with the case in the station, the micrometer adjuster set long, we see how far the bullet gets seated. And in this case, it's not seated very long, and we're getting an interference as the indexing already starts. Because of that interference, this bullet picked up a few scrapes from the inside of the die. It's not what we want. And if I compare the length of these, there's a lot of seating to go, probably about 5 millimeters before we are approximately there. Based on this initial seating, I can measure the lengths and decide how much further to seat the bullet based on a number of factors. The guide from the reloading manual is a good reference point for selecting the overall length to match the components that you're using. If you have a magazine-fed rifle, the cartridge must be able to fit inside the magazine. I also like to ensure that the bullet is seated sufficiently into the case that the case neck supports the entire bearing surface, or the bearing surface contacts the entire case neck. It is possible to seat it longer, as in this example at the moment, where the bearing surface is perhaps a millimeter into the case. That's not enough, and this will be quite easy to bend or move. I also prefer not, if possible, to push the bearing surface past the case neck shoulder junction, because that is where donuts can build up and the resistance and the friction can change as a result of that. So if you seat that, let's say, 1 millimeter short of full bearing surface contact on the case neck, then you're avoiding the donuts largely, and you still have adequate stability in the case neck. So that's my one of the parameters that I consider when selecting an overall length. Thank you for joining me on this segment of Jonathan's journey. Shooting Stuff is here, giving you more time to shoot.